So our next method is mic so our next method is micromeretic method, right? So as like our sedimentation method, we can also determine the stability of our suspension by micromeretic method, right? So as I said, that is a particle size plays a very important role for obtaining the stable kind of suspension, right? Particle size of our dispersed phase, that is our solid materials, right? Particle size of our solid materials. So particle size plays a very, very important role, right? If our particle size is between the range, that is 0.20 micron, right? 0.5 to 5 micron. This is our official range, that particle size of solid material should be between 0.5 to 5 for getting a stable kind of suspension, right? So micromeretic methods, in which we can determine the how much our particle size is, right? How much our particle size is suspended, right? Then with time, may change in size of particle may grow and lead to formulation of lump and cake, right? With a time, means suppose we know that is our preparation should be, we will kept into our expiry up to your expiry date, right? Or for your shelf life, right? For but on the storage, that time there is a chances of the increasing the particle size of our suspension, increasing the particle size of our suspension, right? And due to that, there is a formation of lump and cake. Lump and cake means hard cake. There is a formation of lump and hand cake due to the change in the size of our particles, right? Means whenever during the preparation or after formulation, we put a small particle size, right? But after some time, right, after some time, there is a chances of increasing the size of our, or changing the size of our suspended particles, right? That and due to that, there is a formation of lump and cake, right? So formation of lump and cake, it is also one condition of instability of our suspension, right? So for the recognition of the particle size, or for the uh, guessing out our particle size, means what much size will increase in our future, right? So that's why there is a, for determining this, there is a micromeretic method are applied, right? And that change in particle size and crystal habit may be studied by microscopy or counter method, right? Means the particle size change and crystal habit means formation of crystals. Due to crystal formation, there is a occurring the formation of lump and cake, right? So for studying these problems or these parameters, we can study the microscopy or counter method. Means by using microscopy and counter method, we can determine the size of our particles, right? That is falls under the micromeretic method. Microscopy means our simple microscope, right? By using this, we can determine by the visibly we can determine the size of our particles, right? Suspended particles. Also using the counter method, it is on another method. This is the one apparatus, means zigzag glass apparatus, and it has a one small pores into it, right? So you just remember it, that is for the micromeritics method, microscopy and counter method is used for the particle size, determination of size of suspended particles, right? So by this way, we can determine the stability of our suspension, right? You just remember this two method, that is which is used in the micromeretic method, that is microscopy or counter method. So I think you are understanding it, right? I think you are understanding it. Then our third one, that is rheological method. The change in viscosity of suspension may responsible for affecting the stability of stability of it, right? Means also the viscosity of our vehicle or continuous phase plays a very important role, right? Means increasing the viscosity or decreasing the viscosity, right? Sometimes the increasing the viscosity is not very sorry, increasing the, sometimes the small increasing in viscosity is acceptable, but the decrease in the viscosity, it is a very unacceptable condition, right? If the our viscosity is on the time it is change, right, that time may also our the solid particles does not distribute throughout the our liquid. That's why we will chances of getting a unstable form of our suspension, right? So also the determination of the viscosity, it is very important for in order to find out, in order to determine whether it is stable or not, right? So it is important to determine the viscosity with the help of viscometer. The viscometer is one of the apparatus that is for the testing of viscosity of our suspension, that is falls on the rheological method, right, by which we can determine the our viscosity of our what kind of our viscometer it is a one viscometer is our apparatus which is a study, right, regarding the determination of viscosity of our suspension. So it is very helpful or very necessary to find out this, right, by the rheological method, then macromeretic method, sedimentation method, right? So after that, viscosity study of viscosity, it is also another stability testing, right? Right. Then electrokinetic method. So let's see what is that. Also it is become helpful to determine surface electric charge or a zeta potential of a suspension to understand that whether suspension is stable or not. This is zeta potential are calculated by the electrophoric method, right? Electrophoric method means also by the, you know, that is suspension are made up of the uh, fine fine particles of insoluble solid material and suspension liquid part of our vehicle, right? Means there is a mixing of our small fine particles of solid and fine globules of vehicle or liquid preparation, right? So there is a actually what is our so insoluble material is not soluble in that vehicle, right? Means dot not mixable, mix into the vehicle, means because why that, because of there is a arising or formation of some surface electrical charge, right? Means that is as like our magnet, that is negative repel, right, and positive is attract, right? If attraction is done, that time that insoluble part is properly mixed with a globules of water, right? Means there is a this mechanism is work here, right? Positive repel, negative repel, there is a, hence there is a need of for the mixing for the proper binding, there is a need of opposite charge, that is negative positive, right, positive negative. So right, so in which electrokinetic method there is a study the surface electrical charge, whatever the charge is formation on the surface of solid particles, and whatever the charge is formed in uh, fine globules of vehicle, right, that are studied in the electrokinetic method, right. If there is a attraction between the solid particles and fine globules, that time form a stable suspension. If there is a opposite electrical charge, that time a repulsion, means does not distribute into the vehicle, right? So that's why by this way the electrokinetic method or stability are studied. So for the zeta potential or surface electric charge can be calculated out this, there is one method, that is electrophoric method. By this method we can determine the surface charges, what kind of surface charges form on the surface of the solid material and surface of the liquid globules, right? So by this way we can calculate the zeta potential, and on the basis of value of zeta potential we can determine the stability of our suspension, whether it is stable or not, right? So this is the all about the our stability testing of suspension, that is electrokinetic method, rheological method, then sedimentation method, then micromeritics method. I think you are understand it, right? So this is all about our suspension chapter, right? That is biphasic liquid dosage form, in which we will we had discussed, that is the introduction, classification of suspension, difference between flocculated and non-flocculated suspension, formulation of suspension, method of dispensing of suspension, stability of suspension, right? So this chapter is a very important for your annual exam, also your sessional exam also, right? It is very important, it is very important chapter. Many questions are asked from this chapter, right? So that's why I promptly saying you I'm promptly saying you that is you should study very carefully it, right? Because it is, this means emulsion and suspension chapter, and means various there is a most of chapter that is very important for our pharmaceutics too, which is from lots of question are asked from that chapter, right? So one of them, the suspension also is very important, and next chapter is our emulsion. It is also emulsion also very important chapter. So I telling you that is you should carefully study it. And if you have any kind of doubt or any kind of problems, then you ask me, or you also discuss in your group also, right? And I kindly telling you that is you should watch or see the all slides on whatever we have already completed our chapter, because it is very necessary. Don't take it in a unserious way, or right, because you should become serious, right? So that's why, okay, you are understand it what I am saying, right? So thank you. There is the end of our another chapter, that is a suspension, that is from biophysics liquid dosage form. I took this all information from the RM Meta Pharmaceutics 2 second edition 2003, reprinted on 2010, then Ballab Prakashan, the page number 23 to 35. So thank you for your giving your valuable time, right? So I said it, I sorry, I am telling that is the end of our chapter here. So thank you.